Hey there, I'm Nicole, and right now we're going to be diving into the many new changes and improvements on the HTC 10's camera. And once we're done doing that, I'm going to share with you a couple of photography tips and tricks. When we first fire up the camera, and you're an old HTC user, you'll notice that, well, things are a little bit different. The viewfinder doesn't take up the entire display, and it's a lot less cluttered. Now that's because it defaults to a 4:3 ratio. We can change it to a 16:9, and it will take up the entire viewfinder, but we're going to keep it in 4:3 because that's the optimal resolution. Now, if we snap a quick shot, and then we head into Google Photos, you can see that there are black bars on the side still. Heading back into the camera app, you'll notice two icons down here, Video and Selfie. And that's because those are the two commonly most used modes. If we hit Video, you'll notice it doesn't automatically start. And that's because we want to avoid any accidental video taking. We can also take a video in selfie mode. When we open up the slide-out menu, you can see we have different groupings: photo, video, and selfie. Now you'll notice if we head into something like video, we have specific settings in the sub-menu. You can also see that we can take a photo or a selfie. If we hit hyperlapse, the settings stay the same. If we slide on up to panorama, you can see that things change. We can still take a selfie, but now we can access video. And now I'm going to share with you some photography tips on how to take a great photo with the HTC 10's camera. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your lens is clean. Using a microfiber cloth is best, and why not give the flash a polish too? And don't cover the laser autofocus, though the HTC 10 will tell you if you are. After taking a photo, be sure to stay steady, because HDR Auto is on by default. Now, HDR takes a few pictures at once to ensure the best quality photo. Now, if you're taking a photo of something that's maybe moving quickly, be sure to turn HDR off. You can do that in the corner right here. You can also head into Pro Mode. You can see that we have a lot of options: shutter speed, ISO, exposure, white balance. But where it gets interesting is you can actually shoot raw photos. Now these are very large file formats, but you get a ton of information and you can do a lot with those pictures. Now if you're not planning on, say, importing it into a photo editing software, you can switch to JPEG. Now if Pro Mode's a little bit too much for you, you can actually adjust the exposure value by just tapping and then scrolling up and down. Another feature that HTC's enabled is called Sightseeing Mode. Say you're walking around taking a bunch of pictures and you turn your display off, but you want to hop back into the camera real quick. Just hit the power button and there you are again, bypassing any security features that you might have enabled. If you want to turn on the camera real quick when the screen is off, just swipe down twice. Both cameras have OIS, meaning you can take a mean photo in low light. So those are just a few of the changes that you're going to find on the HTC 10. There's a lot of improvements to the camera, and those were a few pretty good tips and tricks if I don't say so myself. If you have an HTC 10 and you've uncovered a little hidden gem, why don't you leave us a comment below? Because we're always curious to find out what our users are doing with our phones.